Good evening and welcome to TiVi Tuan-san News at 6. My name is Nu Tran. In today's news, China has been hit by a super typhoon. A train crash in Pakistan has left 6 people dead and 150 wounded. And a campaign is underway to save a Vietnamese bilingual school program in Melbourne's west. To today's top story, China's southeast has been hit by a super typhoon in what state media says is the strongest storm of the year globally. Typhoon Meranti has swept through the major city of Xiamen, bringing strong winds, lashing rain, and cutting power to 1.6 million homes, leading rescue teams to evacuate people by boat. Tens of thousands of civilians had already been evacuated in the lead-up to the natural disaster. Meranti was initially classified a Category 5 typhoon, the strongest classification awarded by Tropical Storm Risk Storm Tracker, but has since been downgraded to Category 2 as it loses strength as it approaches Shanghai. There have been no immediate reports of casualties. In other world news, aid to the Syrian city of Aleppo has been halted after crossing the Turkish border, held up by security fears on the third day of ceasefire. 2 convoys of aid carrying mostly food are stuck in no man's land as disagreements have arisen between both warring sides, leaving the United Nations concerned for the citizens of Aleppo. The UN aid trucks are carrying a month's worth of food for 40,000 people. The United Nations believe up to 275,000 people in the eastern city of Aleppo have been almost entirely cut off from vital supplies, including food, water, medicine and electricity for over a month. At least 6 people have died and another 150 people left injured after a Karachi-bound express train collided with a freight train on Tuesday in Pakistan. The horrific crash sent 4 carriages flying off the train tracks near Multan in northern Pakistan, fatally killing 6 people and leaving several critically injured. The 3 civilians trapped in the overturned vehicles have now been rescued. In the US, a Florida man has been arrested on charges of hate crime and arson of a fire that severely damaged a mosque. The Islamic Center of Fort Pierce was set on fire late Sunday on the 15th anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks, also coinciding with the Muslim holiday Eid. Fortunately, no one was injured by the blaze, but the building sustained considerable damage. Joseph Michael Schreiber, age 32, faces at least a 30-year sentence if convicted. The US marine theme park franchise SeaWorld have announced they will stop breeding killer whales in captivity after years of criticism and public pressure from animal rights activists. Killer whales, also known as orcas, have been major attractions for SeaWorld with 29 killer whales in total. Joel Manby, president of SeaWorld, said, "We don't need all these theatrical tricks," pledging to replace its signature killer whale shows with modified presentations that focus on conservation. Criticism of the theme parks have escalated over the last few years with the release of 2013 documentary Blackfish, depicting the cruel captivity of orcas for human entertainment. Since then, 3 marine mammals, an orca, a beluga whale and a white-sided dolphin, have died at SeaWorld within 4 months in late 2015 and early this year. To news in Vietnam, a Vietnamese woman has tested positive for the Zika virus while travelling in Japan. According to the Vietnamese Ministry of Health, the female aged 40 was infected with the mosquito-borne virus in Vietnam. Local media reports the woman sought medical attention at a hospital in Tokyo after experiencing symptoms such as muscle and joint pain, a headache, and skin rashes. The woman is the 11th Zika-infected case in Japan since 2013. Meanwhile, an elderly Vietnamese monk has been evicted from his pagoda in Ho Chi Minh City, formerly known as Saigon, after resisting the threat of closure by the Vietnamese government for more than 2 years. 72-year-old Thuc Khom Tan, whose health has been failing, had to be admitted to hospital shortly after the Liang Ji pagoda was demolished last Thursday. According to Radio Free Asia, authorities took away all the site's Buddhist statues and boxes containing human ashes to a remote area of the city where they plan to build a new temple. Back in Australia, 2 people lost their lives last night after a fatal car collision with an express train in Melbourne's east. The 2 women have been identified as residents from Camberwell in their 70s, who were in the car when their vehicle got stuck between train boom gates at a level crossing as an express train was approaching. The horrific crash resulted in the car being dragged underneath the train for 100 metres before finally stopping at Surrey Hills Station. The women's bodies were pulled from the wreckage at 6:30 p.m. last night, where the car was wedged between the station platform and the train, completely crushed beyond recognition. In Melbourne's west, a campaign has been launched to try and save a Vietnamese bilingual school program. Late last month, Footscray Primary School sent home a school newsletter stating its decision to cut language learning back to 2 hours a week based on curriculum feedback from more than 150 families over 18 months. The online petition against the school's decision to reduce its long-running practice of classes being taught in Vietnamese has attracted almost 400 signatures. The language immersion program is one of only a dozen in Victoria and the only one of its type in the western suburbs. That's all from TiVi Tuan-san, News at 6. Thank you for watching. I'm Nu Tran. I look forward to your company at the same time tomorrow evening.